learn how to do all this stuff.
Okay.
It's amazing, all the videos that you put up and the things you do. I mean, it's astounding. I know there's AI involved, but who the fuck cares? I can't do that shit. It's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And thank you.
Oh
And
my God.
proud of you, man. 2 books, not just 1, but 2.
Yeah. I've just been at it with this book. It needed to be written. It needed to come out, I think,
All right. So are you ready to talk about it?
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I ordered a book. I ordered one, so I don't have it.
My own deal. I haven't got the copies back. They just dropped them on Amazon.
Congratulations. That's awesome. So, Detective of Dreams.
Yes.
Bravo. I love it. Mysteries of the Soul. Your second book, Walter. I am so freaking proud of you. Drawn into Dream was absolutely amazing. I love that book. And now you have a follow-up. I have to ask, what inspired you to do a second book?
Well, the drawings are what I started with. It's like where the whole thing with the whole first book was like, I find that when you draw your dreams or in any way, just little scratches and stuff, that if something happens, it appears it enters the room. I mean, it's no different than, because you and I are both part of the art world, it's no different than great artists, It's like I have a Jackson Pollock sitting on the wall, not a real one, I wish. But, when he did that, it's a metaphor. It comes from inside and it expresses something. So the first book was about the pictures, but then as I'm going like, wait a minute, let's go deeper. What about those metaphoric messages that come from the unconscious? How can we better our lives? How can we connect? And it also connects with pictures still, because I love art. I still connect to that. But it's like, I think of it as dreams, as mysteries. I mean, stop me if I'm just yammering on.
No, let's go.
But it's like you have a dream about a tsunami. Okay. Well, you're not really in a tsunami. But it's a metaphor for the terrible marriage you're in, for instance. In one particular case, it turns out, you have to look at the context of the dream and then lay it against the context of people's lives. That's what detectives do when they solve murder mysteries and stuff like that. They look at the people and say, okay, where were they? What were they doing? What are their motivations? And you lay it against the events of the murder, for instance.
Right.
And it's the same thing here. It's like the context of the dream is there's a tsunami, right? And this particular dream, a woman had a dream and she has, the tsunami's coming and all of her friends, they're just walking along the shore and it's fine. And she's going, there's a tsunami. And they're just fine with it, And she goes, why are they so fine? The tsunami comes and she's thrown into the tsunami around and around. She goes under the water, something like that. And then she realizes she can breathe underwater. Like in dreams a lot, she can breathe underwater. And as she does, she floats at the surface and there in a boat, a white boat, are her friends and they pull her ashore. Well, I mean, it was a metaphoric message about getting out of her horrible relationship. She was in an abusive relationship with a guy. And it was for her, I mean, this is her dream.
Right.
It was about her friends helping her, that she was being overwhelmed by the emotions of all of this. And she could still, in a sense, live through this experience, live through the divorce or the separation, and breathe underwater, in a sense, and that her friends would help her get through this. So it's a dream where the dreams come to help us. They're to talk to us.
Right now, I totally agree with that completely. And symbols they're a language that's been around since people have been able to communicate. A lot of people say they can't remember their dreams. And when they wake up, they have no idea what just happened. Now, is there a way that they can remember their dreams?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
how can they listen to what those messages are?
A bit like going to the gym.
Okay.
It really is a bit like going to the gym. You just have to actually put an intention there to do it. It's like if you really want to hear your dreams, you will do that. There's techniques which, like, first of all, the intention. I would like to remember a dream. I don't care what it is. I just want to remember a dream tonight. So you usually do that just before you go to sleep. You set an intention. There's a number of methodologies that people use, like the meditation, and you can do all kinds of stuff. But basically, you have to have some way to record it too. I mean, it's a simple thing, but I have my phone, right? And I use that. A lot of people use it. There's two tigers, one is peeing on me, and the recordings are really kind of crappy sounding. But basically, I do that, or a lot of people use a journal. They journal. But if you have the attention to remember your dreams, and you put something next to your bed, whatever it is, to record those dreams, and the last thing you do before you go to sleep is do that. And you will usually remember a dream. If not, also when you wake up, stop for a minute. Don't move. Literally don't move. If you wake up, sometimes if you just wait and are still, because sometimes you go, oh, and you'll have a remnant of a dream. And then what I would encourage is, no matter what it is, a lot of dreams, the reason we don't remember them, or we don't, is they're stupid. They're, two cats clawing at a guy with a hat on, and he's in a subway, and then it's my mother, and she's yelling at me. Logically, our logic minds say, who the fuck, who cares about this shit, If you write it down, you'll be amazed at what eventually comes into line, or record it. So they're there for us, and they come every night. We dream between 2 and 4 hours a night. Everybody does,
That's all right. So what got you into dreams in the first place?
Well, it's kind of a story that I tell in my first book. I had a dream in which my mother calls me up and says, your brother's been caught with his hand in the till, And I said, what are you talking about? Because he's been stealing from the company that he works for. And I said, well, how much money are we talking about? She goes, about $6,000. And I said, oh, so what's going to happen? He says, they're going to let him go as long as they gives back the money. So I go, okay. Well, in the dream, I thought, okay, it's about my finances, because dreams are always about us. And blah, blah, blah. So 2 weeks later, my mother calls me up. She goes, we got a problem. Your brother's been caught with his hand in the till. And I went, hold on. And I went and got the book, because I was doing it. And then I said, so how much money are we talking about? It was actually, I can't prove it because, I was there, but the dialogue was the exact script in the book.
Wow.
Exactly like it is. I thought, okay, whatever the dream things are, they have some importance. So I started looking into it, and then I got hooked up with Jeremy Taylor, Reverend Jeremy Taylor, who's like one of the founders of modern dream work in the United States. And it's almost an emotional thing. It's just like, I had been through a divorce. I'd been through, I'm working in the business, but it's like working, on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and 16-hour days and stuff. And I was just a shell. And when we started working with Jeremy and the people with that, it's like, it opened up everything for me. It was like, I saw my soul for the first time. Connection between some deep, whatever this is, whatever goes on inside of us, it's a valuable, wonderful thing. And I have stayed with that for 20 some years now.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, it seems like you're really in alignment when you tune into your dreams. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even when they're nasty dreams, even when they're things, they don't pull punches, but yeah, if you're aligned with them, there's something sacred and beautiful about it. It's sort of like you go to that, because it's not metaphor for me. That's what a lot about the book is about, is that's how, Van Gogh talks to us, right? You look at his painting and there's something happens. You know that, right? You've been you're more in our world than I've ever been. But it's like, and your daughter's an artist. I said, her girl's stuff is really cool. She does some great stuff. But it's like, there's something that happens when you look at it. And it's like, I make my own things, but that reminds me of when I was in New Jersey and blah, blah, blah. Or, that has a feeling to it. Or there's something that happens between us and something else, that our dreams are the same way. They are this communication between a deeper, soulful, whatever it is. Yeah. Sorry.
You're so awesome.
Well,
you mentioned nasty dreams, and I instantly thought of nightmares.
Yes.
What does it mean to have a nightmare versus a regular dream or a happy dream?
Yeah, nightmares are kind of dreams on steroids. They are, sometimes they come because we're not listening. The dream, a lot of times it's that way. Now we get, for instance, I have in the book, in the new book, I have a whole series of pictures of it. I had a dream about in which I'm doing battle with a samurai. I run him through, and there's this horrible mess, and everything is a mess. And it turns out that it was my body talking because my gallbladder had died, and the dream was telling me I needed to take care of it, and I did not listen to it. And I almost died because I went into surgery and they saved my life, but the dreams were telling me beforehand about that. Or like for instance, one of the other dreams I have, it is a huge nightmare in which I have sex with Hitler. I mean, I have sex with Hitler, and it is horrid. I woke up actually on the floor next to my bed with the sheets wrapped around me, screaming at the top of my lungs. So how is that good?
So when you have a dream like that, how do you process it? Because you draw your dreams.
Yes.
How do you break that down when you have that level of fear?
It's very difficult because you have to, in a sense, move away from it. The dreams are unafraid. Dreams are going to tell the truth. They're going to say something, and in a way that is not always comfortable. But like, for instance, that sex with Hitler thing, it turned out about I was not facing shadow material. The shadow in life is like that part where I'm ignoring things that I don't like. We all have that. And I have locked stuff down in my Mormon background, that are really big, and it's just like this dark shit. And dream comes out and says, enough already, it's time to let it loose.
Walter, we have all the time in the world. I didn't know you were Mormon, so we have to talk about that too.
There's a very interesting story towards the end, embarrassing as hell. You'll have to read that one. It's a hoot. But for instance, I had a woman that I worked with on a fashion show. We were lighting a show at Burbank. And she says, oh, you're the dream guy. I had this dream. And she tells me a dream about how she walks into her family home that she grew up in. And inside the living room, the entire living room is filled with a giant aquarium, 10 feet high. It fills the whole room with fetid water. And there's an alligator trying to get at her. Rah, rah, rah. And she screams. She goes across the wall. She goes out and asks her mom. She goes, Mom, there's an alligator in the house. She goes, there's no alligator in the house, you stupid kid. So she has that dream. She says, well, dream guy. And I go, well, I don't know what I call interpret dreams. I just work with them. I go, okay, if it is for my dream, that's where I learned from Jeremy Taylor. If it's for my dream or in my version of the dream, there's something in my family home that is fetid and that is dangerous. There's something inside of my family somehow that is really, that's the only thing I came up with pretty much. We had to go back to work to making makeup on all these people for the Revlon thing and whatever. Okay. So, 3 days later, she goes to me and she goes, I hate you. I hate you. I had this horrible nightmare. I went, okay. She starts crying. I went, oh boy, I really blew this by bringing up the family stuff. She goes, I had another dream. In the dream, I'm in that same family house. And instead of this being the alligator and all that stuff, now it is filled with blood, almost to my waist. And it's the blood of my sisters. I see their body parts floating in the blood.
Okay.
And my father has killed both of them. And he's after me. And I'm like, okay, we are in some deep, so here we are. Here's what you're talking about, a nightmare that is seems absolutely, what the hell is going on here? She goes, I hide in the closet, but I know he's going to find me. So I race out of the house. I get in the car and I'm driving away. And as I'm driving away, I look in the rearview mirror and there he is in the back seat with a knife. And he hands me the knife and says, go ahead, kill me. And that's the end of the dream.
Wow.
Well, what that brought up is, this was the deep trauma. The first thing I did was send her to a therapist. This is way out of my, this is very deep things. It turns out that what that brought up for her was the horrible memory that she had been abused by her father.
Oh, wow.
She then talked with her sisters It turns out that both of them had been abused by her father.
Wow.
So, in a sense, the parts blood appears in dreams a lot. It's about life force. Blood is life force, and it's here. It's going out. So the dream was a wake-up call about this whole thing. And when she presented this to her mother said, just like in the first dream, "Oh, that never happened. You're crazy," and all this kind of stuff. But for sure, all three of them they named. So basically, that nightmare brought her into a place where she was able to handle that horrible situation. And she went into therapy for a couple of years and resolved
Wow.
a lot of it. So that's one example of nightmares where they are useful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like this could be therapy just by talking about dreams.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Oh, you get me so excited. The thing about it is that dreams, in communicating them, even in telling that story, even though it's not my story,
Right.
something happens between people.
Mhm.
Storytellers, I mean, movie makers, storytellers have been around for as long as we have.
Right.
And there's something beautiful about that. There's something about that that is essential and clear. We are here to hear stories. We are here to tell stories. We are here to share our souls with other people. And the way we do that is through story and metaphor,
Mhm.
I mean, I tell the story about the woman with I'm thinking about my own life. Where have I been in a fetid place with a crocodile? My own metaphors, just like with Jackson Pollock or with any of the great artists, it's like there's something that happens that's in there. There's something in the art. There's something in the dream that is it's a catalyst between our souls and our conscious self. And it's such a beautiful thing.
So I have to go back to the sex of Hitler then, because
Yeah.
everything, actions are symbols, metaphors, symbolic. So it's actually not literally sex. But what if you have a dream that you are having sex with someone you really want to have sex with? Does that change, or I mean, is it still symbolic?
It's still, yeah, you mean very like if you're having sex with somebody that you really don't like or something
Well,
like that, or what?
you talked about having sex with Hitler, which
Yes.
made that sound like, that's a heavy metaphor for something else.
Yes.
What if you have a dream that you're having sex with someone you really want to have sex with? You
Oh,
know, yeah.
well, sometimes a cigar is a cigar.
Okay, so not everything is a metaphor then.
No, not right now. But sometimes that's really about that because it's also a metaphor but it is indeed. Sometimes, there are, yeah, sex, of course, again, but look at it symbolically because I mean, sex is an extremely powerful metaphoric world. I mean, it's like it's the most intimate thing you can do. Sharing your body and yourself in this intimate way with somebody is the most open, awful, or glorious thing that you can do. It's incredible. And so it is symbolic also. That's where we get lost, is the fact we think, oh, I keep wanting to have sex with this woman at work that I really like, but it's like it's and you get that because it's your natural feelings for that. But you have to remember that this is symbolic. You don't want to like act on it because you think, it's symbolic of many things. So again, it could be good or bad.
Right, it would just depend. Well, okay, one thing I love about your new book, you have a lot of drawings. Now, all
Yes.
those drawings are yours, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Not all of them. No, about half or three-quarters of them are drawings of mine. Some of them were from dreamers that I've added to it. Yes, like in the last book, I had a lot of dreamers that have added their stuff, but a lot of them are my drawings. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so a lot of the stories and first of all, I have to say, I love that you put in stories. I love when you teach by story. To me, I just
Yeah,
so with your stories, I mean, your drawings, did they actually happen to go with the stories
yeah,
anyway?
yeah. I mean, it's some of them, like the Hitler dream thing. I mean, I didn't understand the dream, and I drew it. I drew 4 or 5 drawings of it. It wasn't until I looked at this drawing and I realized that because in the dream, having sex with Hitler, it was an awful thing. It was a nightmare, and no matter how, I spent months working on it. It wasn't just like
Oh, wow.
one thing. I worked it with groups. I worked with friends. Because it was a big dream. Big dreams sometimes require a lot of work. But it wasn't until I looked at the drawing of burned out Berlin. That's where it takes place in. It's after the war, and Hitler is hiding out with us, with me and my Nicole Kidman kind of person, right? And it wasn't until I looked at that drawing, I went, wait a minute, it's after the war. Why didn't I think of this? My shadow does not have the power that I think that it does. That's what the message was. Hitler, although he is a shadow figure and the strongest shadow figure you can imagine, I also am in control. Hitler lived with us. He was hiding. I mean, it changed everything when I realized that, you know? Did I get off the mark here when you're asking the question?
Well, no, I just think this is so wild because I know there are dreams that stay with you. And so
Yeah.
when the dream stays with you like that, is it egging you to figure it out or is it
Yes.
trying? All right.
Yeah. Yes, I think so. I think so. And you can't always figure it out. And what's great about it is that this happens every night. So
Right.
there's another dream that we'll have, you know, I sort of think of it as that there's a team of Sophias around in the background writing this stuff. It's going, you know what I mean? You know, sort of like, you know, Jay Leno and all the late night comics. The writers are the ones who think up all this, the dreams, you know, the stuff that goes out on that. It's in that, in a sense, I think that there's a team of people in our unconscious. It's us writing a story, going, Sophia needs to hear something about her life and this whole thing with Cannes and the festival or whatever it is that's going on, you know. And so it gives us a dream, you know, some kind of weird message sometimes. Yeah.
Or how about reruns when you have repeat dreams?
Oh yeah, repeat dreams. Yeah, recurring dreams. Recurring dreams need to be. It's sort of like you didn't hear it, and let's do it again. Oh, you didn't get the message again. Oh, well, let's do it one more. You know, it's like your mother saying, "Remember to take the trash out." You know, it might be that simple. Recurring dreams. There's also there's deeper places with this too, like people with PTSD and things like that. That's a special kind of deal because those dreams, they're repetitive. There are therapies that are used that I don't do or am qualified for, in which they rehearse the dream in waking life. For instance, you know, like the guy, he's in the war, and this hand grenade comes in and blows up his friend, and it's a real thing that happened in the war. And he has the dream over and over and over again. And so it's like, how do I get past it? The dream keeps saying you go. And so a lot of times they'll do it. I forget what the term is, but it's a dream rehearsal therapy. And you would do is say, okay, let's change one thing in the dream. Okay, I look up, and just before the thing hits, I see a bird. And so what happens is, so if you or then you say, okay, the thing misses and it doesn't kill the guy, or whatever it is, you change a little bit of the dream in waking life, often the dreams will disappear. The recurring dreams will disappear. Not always, because people with deep traumas, where traumas appear with that's a very particular thing. It's very difficult, a lot of work, you know, if I make any sense.
Yeah, when you dream, do you have all five senses working? Like you can obviously see and hear, but can you smell and taste and
You can, but not as much. Taste and smell are two of the ones that are the least used in dreams. And there's a science to that actually, because there is some science involved with that, which is that the hearing and the visual and things like that are centers in the I'm only dangerous enough to know some of this, is that the auditory, the nose and the nose, smelling, and what was it, hearing, what was the other one,
Sure.
taste
Oh.
taste and smell, they're both go to the olfactory. It gives a different place in the brain. So so in a sense, some scientists are going cuckoo on this stuff, but it's basically we don't do as much with those too, but they can exist. There are times when it does, but they're less.
I saw a theory the other day about scientists who say when you dream, you're actually living life in a different realm. Would you
Yes.
do that? I mean,
E-
but,
Um, okay.
well, in a way, it is an experience in another
Yeah,
realm.
yeah, it is. It is. It could be. I mean, there's one of my book too with this woman who goes through the universe and it appears the world goes around it. It's amazing. So there are times when you're connected up to something deep, much deeper than just your conscious self or your living life. Yes. So there is something there, but that's an area that I don't know much about. I mean, I have experienced it, but it's so wiki that I don't know how to. I don't have control of it. I don't want to. I don't know. It's an area that I respect, but it's like, oh, I don't know, another realm. I
Right?
don't know.
Um, would you say, okay, say you're a married couple and you've been together for like 50 years, would
Mhm.
you actually share dreams?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I mean, a lot of married couples do. Not everybody, but yeah. It's like yeah, I know a lot of couples that share dreams every morning. My companion, I share dreams with her all the time. She does too.
Oh, no, I mean like actually have the same dream. Like
Oh,
you
I have the
both,
same dream.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right. There's something that hooks up there. I don't know. Yeah. There are times when that happens.
like
And
you're on the same channel.
yeah, yeah. No, it's true. It's right. I'm a Jeremy Taylor, my mentor. He had this dream about an elephant, a elephant, and his wife the same night had a dream about almost the same elephant. So it's like,
Oh,
yeah, when you get with somebody in the same channel, yeah, something happens again. And this is an area probably you know more about than I do. You know.
I don't know. Don't know much of anything, but I'm just here. No,
Uh,
well, I just think it's fast. So when you have all these stories in your book, how did you pick them? What made you decide this story works as opposed to another? Because you have hundreds and hundreds of stories.
yeah, yeah. No, it's there are so many. I mean, out for 20 or 25 years of doing this, I mean, I run a weekly dream group. So we're talking thousands of dreams. What I tried to find was examples where it's very clear, because dreams get messy, they get really messy and they have all kinds of obtuse things that appear in them. But I chose dreams that were telling the story clearly, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So there's, it makes and also has some kind of definite message. Like there's in the book, there's a dream about, stop me if I'm going on too much.
Oh, I love it.
There's a dream where a guy is coming down. I mean, it's a simple dream in a way. That's what's great about it. Sometimes it's not. I'm trying to tell a tale, and if you get too many side notes, even like the Hitler dream, I go on for pages and pages because there's a lot of stuff in it. But it was so important of a dream that I had to include it. But here's a kind of simple one. A guy is in this raging, horrible river underground, and he is going at 100 miles an hour, and he's clawing at the sides, and he's trying to stop himself. Ah! He's in this horrible water, and he's screaming, and he comes into an open place with light in it, and there's his ex-wife. And his ex-wife is like, and a few other people, his ex-wife is waving at him like, ah, and smiling. And he's going, whoa, help me. And it's like, yeah, ah! And she doesn't help him. And he goes beyond that, back into the darkness, and goes over the waterfall, ah, and screams. He knows he's going to die. So there's the nightmare, right? It's a nightmare. Who the hell wants to have these dreams stuck in them? Well, all right. Well, what I did was in the book, I talk about the context of the dream and the context of the person. So the context of the dream is clawing at the sides, going down a dark river, ex-wife appears, going out and going over a waterfall. This is what happens in the dream. These are the things surrounding the dream. Well, what's going on with this guy's life? You got to ask, right? I said, well, your ex-wife appears in the dream, so let's talk about that. He goes, well, yeah, she's fine. I went, I said, and ex-wife. She goes, yes, recently got divorced, but it's fine. And I go, you could tell from his voice that he was like, you're hiding a little bit. I went, again, that's my judgment. But I said, okay, so what's the story? And what's the context? Because she's there waving at you. He goes, well, she's in a new relationship, and she's in a new relationship, and I wish her well. I wish her well. I think that's really great that she has a new relationship like that. I go, and how are things with you? It's like, we're looking at the context now, because the dreamer, there's something about this guy. I said, in Jungian terms, water, underground water, it's about emotion for me, can be. And I said, so is there a place where I'm clawing at things, where I'm trying to not do this and it's dark and is there a place? He goes, no, nothing like that. He goes, but, I'm really not, if I'm honest, like, I'm not real happy with her being with somebody else and I don't have anybody. I've been on the dating sites and I've been unsuccessful with that and things like that, but, that's okay. And whatever, like that, I go, okay, well, we're going to okay, here we go. We're going to have to spend the next hour working on this, trying to figure out where I can find Pierce's armor. In the middle of all this, he then goes, wait a minute. Go what? He goes, hold on, dream man. What if this is a positive dream? I said, this nightmare where you fall? He goes, yeah. Wait a minute. What if this is a positive dream? I said, oh, okay. What the hell? And he says, what if the whole thing about my ex-wife is saying, you're fine. Go over the waterfall. You need to move on and stop clawing at the sides of our relationship or what went on, and stop that and allow yourself to go. He says, what if that's what it's about? What if I need to go over the waterfall? What if I go over the waterfall, And what if I'm going to be fine. I'm going to land in a place with a bunch of happy people. I'm like, okay. I mean, he made all that stuff up, but it was basically, you see where we're going with it is sort of like the context of the dream was this clawing around thing, and the context of his life was this clawing around thing, and the resolution of it was let go.
Yeah.
Let go over the waterfall, go with the emotion, allow it to play. So, that's the sort of thing where you go, it doesn't always work that way. Some people won't get past round one, but anyway, yes.
That's so cool. He figured that out.
Yeah, I mean, with a little help, sort of when I said, are you clawing and stuff, and I mentioned the stuff about the water being emotions, possibly in a Jungian term, he went, well, yeah, that's where the realization hit him, and he went like this. And that's what happens. Just like we've been talking about, when you see a piece of art and you go, oh, it does something to me. I feel different. There's something happening. In that happening is why I wrote this book. That moment of mystery and clues being, looked at and seen.
Have you ever talked to someone, whether in your group or someone you've met, who has a dream, but they don't know how to articulate it? Like they see it, but they don't know how to share it.
Yeah.
And do you work? What is that experience like?
Well, it's kind of difficult, but what I do with that sort of thing is that I allow the person to do whatever they want to. Is I go, no, tell us the dream again, but slower. And anything. I don't care what, it doesn't make any sense, whatever like that. If you're, and then I'll say, then I go, okay, tell the dream again. Draw the dream a little bit. Maybe make a picture. Like it's a matter of what I'm probably very good at, if I was going to admit it, is I know how to listen. I knew how to listen to the guy with the waterfall thing. And listening is what it's all about. It's like, with those things, it's like, it's just a cockroach. That's all it was. I had a dream about a cockroach, okay? It was just a cockroach, okay? All right, well, you just investigate and go, well, what color was the cockroach? I don't know. Where was the cockroach? Oh, well, he was on my bed. You start asking questions, just like you do that's why I'm called the detective of dreams. It's like you ask questions and keep asking questions that seem relevant, and tell the dream again, only, tell it from the aspect of the cockroach, be the cockroach in the dream, so you just do, that's a gestalt kind of thing, but you can, all kinds of techniques in which you can just, what the basic thing is to take the dream and inhabit it. Just like you would with a painting. You look at it and you say, oh, what? Oh, it's a face. Oh, it's not a face. Oh, it's this. What about that? What about this? How does this work? It's the metaphors are speaking as you do that. So it is a matter of, no matter whether it's like just it seems like a stupid dream that doesn't make sense, just listen to it over and over until something happens. Usually what happens is that in the telling of the cockroach dream, over and again, I keep making her talk like the cockroach. Okay, does the cockroach have a friend? What happens after the dream? I know the cockroach is just on your bed, but does the cockroach fly? Does the cockroach go away? I don't know. Well, okay. How about you just try different approaches until something jumps. Like the guy says, this is a positive dream. I'm going to go over the waterfall. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you get stuck and it just goes nowhere. That happens, but that's why dreams are great. Another one is available tonight.
Or say you talk to your dream group and you hear like 6, 7 different dreams.
Yeah.
You ever have someone's version as your own dream?
Say that again.
Okay, so you're talking to these people about their different dreams and
Yes.
you help break them down. And does anyone's dream ever come to you so you have that person's dream, but as your own?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, definitely. Because again, they're metaphoric and we all, yeah, exactly. So it's sort of like I've had dreams where people have been in cars careening down the side of a mountain. And I had one session where there were 2 of those. One was a car careening down, the other was a bicycle in which they were out of control and they couldn't control it. And both of them went down the side of the mountain. It was really weird. So that night I had a dream in which I'm in a car and all of the windows are blackened out and I'm driving. And I have to drive by feel, the bumps and stuff like that. And it's again, so it's that the dream that they presented came to me as also something that I needed to deal with. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it's so cool that you do this and that you're so fast. And it sounds like you can just do it for forever because there's always going to be something new, something different.
Yeah. Well, what I love about it is the fact that it's really not me. This is about community. It's about, that's why I love groups in a sense, instead of just talking about dreams. It's like everybody, you realize that like if you have a group of I usually have about either between 8 and 12 people in a dream group, say. One of them is a PhD from Harvard who is an expert in Southeast Asia. Another one is a horse trainer. 2 of them are therapists. One of them is a comic. Another one is a writer. One is a gymnast. It's like all of these people have these incredible lives that they've led, right? I mean, just think about your own life. Sophia's life has been wild. All the things that have happened to you are collected in the context of your life. You bring all of that at this moment to this incredible metaphoric tale that comes from the deep unconscious and talks to all of us in a way, like a painting. And
Right.
here we are looking at a Jackson Pollock in a way. Instead, it's a dream. And that dream affects us. It affects them. The dream work, then I get done. In the book, it sounds like, oh, I understand this and I got this. Most of it is people. People said, wait a minute, I train horses. This horse would never do that. This horse in my dream loves you, loves me to pieces. He loves me. And you go, oh, because you know what I mean? There's the expertise comes in, the experiences come in. You realize that the thousands and thousands and thousands of episodes and things and feelings and stuff that are presented with a single being in the room. How incredible is it that we get to share those things and have the experiences of other people appear in front of us? You know what I mean? Because what happens is my job is to open this thing up and listen and allow the space to be open enough where people can lay out their feelings, their ideas, their passions, their thoughts. It's what life is about. It's about sharing something. It's like making love to everybody. Who? No, not that I've ever tried that. No.
No, but I take it everyone trusts each other because when you share a dream, that is a very intimate thing, right?
Yes, yeah. And you build a sense of that over time. Sometimes it takes, but other times, if another story, is that okay?
I love the stories. That's what it's all about.
Incredible story. It's in the book. 35-year-old kid comes, and his father is a regular member of the Dream Group. He was a chemist, right, in the south area here, South Bay. He says, "You got to go to this Dream Group." So she comes to the Dream Group. He has a dream, and it's a simple dream. He actually, in waking life, he's 35 years old, and he works as a mechanic, fixing cars and trucks, the electronics of cars and trucks. He has a dream in which he looks on his screen, analysis, and it has all the wires, diagrams, and things like that. But behind it is the picture of his sister. And his older sister was only a couple years older than her. And her picture appears, and then it fades, and the wires get more complex. And that's the whole dream, right? Well, he his first time dreamer had never, so he was reluctant to draw it. He finally drew it. You'll see it in the book. All these wires in front of this face. The face he drew was incredible. First time, he's not an artist or anything. It was like, he's a mechanic, right? Well, okay, context again. Okay, so the context of the thing is like his sister is on the screen in his workway and is disappearing. Well, what happened? What's going on with the sister? Turns out that the sister, who I knew and used to come to our dream group, had died 5 months earlier of alcohol poisoning.
Oh, wow.
So when I went, okay, this is, I'm got to be very gentle, because again, it's a person who's never shared a dream before. And I thought, okay, I could just leave it alone, or I could say, well, tell me about your sister. That's what I do. It's like, I want to listen. He goes, well, she was this and she was that and so forth. And I said, well, what happened? She died like 5 months ago of alcohol poisoning. And like, you could just drop a pin in the room. There were like 12 of us there. And we all were very supportive. I said, well, some people said, oh yeah, I lost a sister to alcohol. And but there were some things that were talked about, but it was a moment where it didn't matter what we said. He had shared this drawing and those simple words that my sister faded, and he had shared that. It was all that needed. But then I got a little bold and I said, okay. I said, I got to tell you, again, this is the picture thing, because I love people that draw their pictures. Your sister now, in a sense, no, not in a sense, your sister is in the room with us right now. There's her face right up there. And we're talking with her. I said, if she were here, and she is, what would you say to her? And I think a couple people in the group looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing, Walter? But I went, we're going to take a chance. He goes, I love you, I miss you, and I wish you well. That's all he said, right? But the feeling, the emotion was fine. It was the first time since she had died that he had actually talked about it that way, in any way. Then Walter, silly me, looks at the dad and says, what about you? If she's here now, what do you have to say to her? And he says, I love you. You were a pain in the ass, and I miss you, And so, in a sense, there was a moment not only for them to actually interchange and have interface with their own that girl, but also with each other and themselves and all of us. It was a moment of community that will live in my memory forever. That's the sort of thing that I love about dreams. That makes sense?
Beautiful. That is really beautiful. Do you think spirits or ghosts or people who have crossed over can communicate through dreams to people?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know how that works, but I've seen so many of them that it's yes. I would say with the caveat, which is that sometimes people want them to appear, and they so it can be a self-fulfilling desire to do that. But there have been, I don't know what it, for me, it's about the feeling of it. If somebody says that, and then my sister appeared and she said, "Donna, was a brother," you can feel it. And if they genuinely, I don't even care if it's real or not. I don't care. As long as it has sustenance, has a feeling to them, that's all that matters. But yeah, I think there is, again, this is a area that I really don't know much about. But because because of my Mormon background, I have a tendency to sort of like be cynical about religious or spiritual things. And I'm working to get over that.
Well, how long were you Mormon? Are you still, I mean, do you still practice or?
Oh, no. I got out of that when I was about 35.
Oh,
So,
so
yeah,
so
so it's been at least 5 years, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I left the church, and yeah, it was quite a, but religions are and that sort of thing. Well, I was deep into it. I was one of those guys who was knocking on your door, asked you if you want to read the Book of Mormon. I was one of
Oh
those.
wow. So
And
you're
my actual title was elderberry.
Elderberry. Oh my gosh. Okay. I have to tell you this, and I'll cut this out of the recording. I wrote a memoir of a woman who was seventh generation Mormon, and she was the first in her family to be excommunicated.
Oh.
And so it's a pretty juicy story, yeah.
Mhm.
But she was married in the temple,
Yep.
and they did all this secret stuff they were supposed to do and not talk about. She spills the tea, baby.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was pretty
that's
juicy.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy because a lot of Mormon people, I didn't really know anything about Mormonism before I met her. And mind you, this has been like a 3-year journey now,
Wow. Wow.
just because there was just so many elements to it. But next time she comes to LA, I would love for her to meet you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I never got excommunicated, but I came very close, and I just I left. I didn't, yeah. But yeah, I went through the temple. I did the marriage in the temple and everything. I did all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and was it go forth and replenish, right?
Yeah. Well, I had 3 kids, but I stopped after that, thank God. But
Okay. All right. So she's like me, she has 6, so
yeah, that's all part of the deal with them.
right.
But yeah. That was a journey that had its own. But everybody has That's what's great about dreams and with stories is that everybody has a story, and if
Right.
you really listen to it closely, it's really interesting. And
Would you say your dreams have helped you in your life?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's like that whole thing with the Hitler dream, facing the shadow parts of myself and realizing that I need to take a better stand with it. I need to understand it better. It has. I mean, dreams in this thing. I'm more relaxed. I'm happier. What I do is because dreams come in such a powerful, symbolic way. I tend to sort of I do what there's a guy named Dachner who wrote a book called Awe, AWE, and he had this something that I did before he even mentioned it. I do all walks. It's where you go on a walk and you just stop and you look up and you go, look at that tree. Oh, and I go, what if that tree danced? What would it look like when it danced? And, oh, there's a window over there. What's going on in that house? Let me make up a story or whatever like that. Or look at those clouds, and they look like doves, or whatever it is. It's about, I become observant of life, not and people. I love even going to stores and watching people in line and things like that. It's people. All people have a story, and it's a beautiful story, even if it's harsh and mean and whatever.
That's right. We do all have a story, and that's what's so fascinating. That's what makes art so fascinating.
Yeah,
It-
yeah, yeah.
Someone's spirit creating, and it's so interesting too because and maybe this might sound woo woo, but with everyone being so different, that's what shapes us.
Yeah, yeah, it
But
is.
we need that opposite. We need that push and pull.
Another story that's in the book is wonderful because I worked in the industry. Is that I worked on a movie called Sully. It's with Tom Hanks,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Mhm.
And I used to just pick. I was towards the end of my career, more closer, and so I would sometimes I'd pick up work. I was, I was a guy. I didn't know anybody on the crew. They'd been shooting for a while and stuff like that. So we had lunch at 11 o'clock at night, as you know, when we, all that sort of thing with movie sets. So I don't know anybody, and I did my work, and so I go and I grab my plate of food and I go out to the edge of the craft service people because I don't know anybody. I'm just sitting by myself. And I'm eating away, and this guy comes by and sits across from me, and I didn't think much of it. He goes, "Oh, hi, who are you?" And I look up, and it's Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks intentionally saw that I was sitting by myself and came out and sat with me, right?
Oh,
He says,
wow.
"Oh," I said, "I'm Walter." He goes, "What do you do?" And I go, I'm a lighting guy, And he goes, "Oh," he says, "Tell me about lighting." And I'm like, "What?" I go, no, tell me about lighting. And I said, "Yeah, well, I knew you from Bosom Buddies. Remember that series? I worked with you on that way back in the pandemic." He says, "How was that?" And they go, "You're okay." So it was like, I said, "We've learned." Anyway, we had a great conversation. He asked me about lighting. And he kept asking me, and I was on and on about backlights and this, that, and none of that. And I'm pontificating like hell. But we had a half-hour conversation in which he kept asking questions and listening carefully and feeding back to me what it was about. So by the end of it, I'm going like, wait a minute, it's Tom Hanks. I gotta, why I'm gonna ask him something. And like, anyway, it was Tom Hanks is like that. That's the sort of person I want to be in life, is to be able to listen to people, without being, here I am. It was a great moment. It was a good moment where you just go, okay, this is what life is about.
That's so great. You have so many wonderful stories because in your line of work, you've met incredible people.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of people, and when I did the Arsenio Hall show, I lit more than 1,000 musical groups, so I got to all of that. All kinds of music people. Okay, it's been an interesting career. Yeah, and it is being inside of all that and seeing how people work on the levels of where they are. It's very fascinating.
Little- you ever
Because I mean, as you know, as an actress, is that there's for my money, the very best of the best have to be completely emotionally honest, or there is no performance.
Right.
And so I've been around people as they're emotionally honest, when they're standing there crying, and it's not bullshit. They are actually crying, So, not always. But anyway, it's been, life is so fun, It's just so fun. There's so much great stuff in it.
That is so awesome. Well, so if anyone wanted to come to you and say, "Hey, I have this dream. I have no idea what it means. Help me." Is that something that you, or could they go to your website or?
Oh, yeah, you could go to my website and contact me or something like that. Leave a message for me and I will respond to it. Yeah. Be drawnintothedream.com. This is where my website is. Which I'm updating because the new book's going to be out soon.
Right. Now, how about your dream group? Is that open to anyone, or is it a private?
I would have to. I'm a little selective with that, but yes, if somebody writes me and says, "I'd like to visit your dream group," I would definitely entertain that to see what happens. Yeah.
I think see if there's that connection. You don't know wackos allowed, but
well, even the wackos are okay. I just don't want to be overwhelmed by them,
Right. This is true. Well, I think you're absolutely wonderful, Walter. And are you going to have a third book out? No, are you on a roll now?
No, I won't even mention the fact that I'm thinking about a third book. No. Yes, there's a gem. There's something else. Well, again, it's just like anything else. It's just like all of these stories built together into this fabric of this thing of talking about metaphoric messages and the mysteries and the clues and some of that. And then that goes to a deeper place too. I went from there to here and maybe even deeper. There may be a philosophical kind of paper or something. Yeah, but we'll see. Well, right now I gotta sell a few of these things to pay for the book.
Well, you're also a speaker, right? We talk about dreams.
Yeah, exactly. On.
You have anything coming up that people could go to, or?
Nothing that's currently like right now. If they wanted to go to the IASD conference in Ashland, Oregon, it's June 13th through the 17th. There's a conference we can get to see Shakespeare too up there, but it's there's I'll be speaking there and doing a workshop, and that sort of thing. And every once in a while I'm here and there, but a lot of it's dream groups. I do them online and in person. So that's my thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
But so what kind of workshop? How do you do a dream workshop? How does that work?
Well, one of the things I do is I actually have people draw their drawings live. I actually have a great big board, and I have them draw the dream, and then we work it like we would in a normal group. I have sometimes it's like 50 or 60 people, and they're all contributing to like that, but we work the dream. Or another one I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation with different things and stuff, and sometimes it's more of a talking face. But I'm better when I'm working with the dream. I found that when I do the thing when I talk, I mean I've done talk where I just talk. I try to make it humorous, and sometimes it just doesn't. People are wanting to hear; they don't want the fucking jokes. I don't know. I don't know why. But
Lots of people jokes.
yeah, but I gotta work on that part sometimes.
That's awesome. All right. So if anyone wanted to reach out to you and say, "Hey, would you be a speaker for my group?" How could they just email you, or?
Yeah, email me at artistwalt@verizon.net or on my site, which is drawnintothe.dream.com. Yeah, either way. Yeah, it'd be. I'd love to have. I've done some things. I spoke at the Milken Institute a couple of years ago and stuff. So at things, but and Harvard and blah blah blah. But little spots sometimes here. Yeah, little gatherings, not big stuff. I'm not big, but I like talking about it. I love doing it. I love working this stuff. So.